Welcome back from the break. It's still wide awake here on Duxa TV. I'm Alex Simbwa. Still has taken a break, but that doesn't negate the fact that we will have a good time in as far as the discussion that we promised you is concerned. Together with me this morning is Calvin Mwahuzi. Calvin is a political analyst as well as a lawyer. He's not new on Duxa TV, and his mind is the right one for the season in which we are. Why? Because we've just gone through an election period. It's not quite over, as you may be aware. We still have elections at different levels, but nonetheless, we need his mind in as far as this is concerned. Calvin, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, kindly say hello to our viewers, and then I will pick it from there.
Good morning to lovely viewers. I want to congratulate you upon electing your leaders. I want to congratulate you upon completing the first phase of our election process. And I want to thank all of you who managed to go to various polling stations to go and elect the various leaders. Now you have the members of parliament and the president-elect.
Okay. Okay. I welcome you back yourself from the elections. I'll begin there and begin on a sensitive matter of voter turnout. 50 what percent? Was it 52%?
Yes.
Okay. What does that say?
2026 was a little bit different. I have my reservations about the voter turnout.
Okay.
Some will agree, some will not agree. But this time round, I think people expected worse and they got the bare minimum. Okay. They expected a lot of presence of the military, the armed forces, which was very minimal. And the deployment, especially in the Kampala Central Business District, there was really no much of the military presence that was vivid, like how we saw it in the Kawempe by-election and in the 2021 election. We saw the presence of the military straight from November till the election in January, but this time around, there was really no too much presence of the army, but people expected it. So most of them didn't turn out because of that reason. But then also, the issue of voter turnout was in the sensitization. People really didn't expect anything so different.
That's the point that I was about to ask you, because you meet a lot of people who would be, they are potential voters. They are supposed to be voting because they're registered, but they will tell you, I will not participate because the outcome is a foregone conclusion.
Yes. We had 21 million voters, registered voters as per the Electoral Commission, and we only had about 10 million people who came to vote, around 11 million or 10 million. But you get to see that there is more to do in line with public trust when it comes to institutions like the Electoral Commission. Okay. There is more to do also when it comes to public trust with government officials, public servants, especially in the offices of power and influence, the RDCs, the district registrars, the Electoral Commission, the GISOs, PISO, all those people. There is need to have public trust so that people can know that when times of elections come, we can trust that everybody is on the same page and we have a leveled flow of politics in the country. So the voter turnout issue is more of a mindset issue and also the issue of lack of public trust in public entities that are supposed to be working for the people, and they have now become regime enablers.
Okay, let's get into your overview of the whole election. You've spoken a little bit about security. I needed your input on that. But let's get into this time. We expected an election that is a little bit electronic. Electronic in the sense that there were machines procured for us to be able to conduct the election in a tech-savvy manner. Unfortunately, they failed. I don't want to say on day one. They failed in the first hour of the election. Your take on that?
Now, I don't know if I should give an overview or I should...
you begin with the overview, and then we'll get into the details of each of those.
Now, the overview of the election, personally, the election, this time around, I want to be very honest. I know certain people will not like it. the election was okay. The process
of the election.
The process was okay. I want to speak with, starting from presidential level. The presidential level election was okay. The results that we got were not different from what we expected. The issue of parliamentary election. Now, here, there is very many inconsistencies. There are inconsistencies here and there, which is supposed to be on a ground level, depending which constituency and which district, all that coming up. But then also, the results that we got, some were expected, others were not expected. The irregularities are there, and some, there were a little bit of a push and pull between the ruling party and the leading opposition party. Now, when it comes to the issue of BVVK, now, I was listening to the president giving a speech in Rachetura when he had gone to cast his vote, and he was telling people that he called Right Honorable Todwong in Nwea in the morning at around 6 to ask him, have my polling agents gone to the polling stations? He told them they came as early as 6. And then he receives a call from Honorable Byabakama informing him that the machines have failed as early as 7 in the morning. Because I saw Right Honorable, she's still a speaker of the KCCA, Right Honorable Ruika was at a polling station at 6:30 here in Machindia West. And she was saying that we are here, but there are no materials, and actually the machines have failed to work. It was across the country. It was only at the polling station, I think, in Mbarara City, I saw, and also in Kiruhura, where the president voted from, I saw them using machines.
But it had initially failed as well.
Yes.
It failed to recognize his thumbprints, and then I hear somehow it recognized his facial features.
We could say he was old, and the
thumbprints couldn't fit.
So we create the impression that that can happen. But when the Electoral Commission came to Parliament to seek for a supplementary budget of 489 billion to run this election, and some of this money was going on to equipping the polling assistants and the returning officers, how to use these machines. We expected that a different kind of mechanism would be shown on that day, because these were not election equipment. They were just verification equipment. We verify that you are actually supposed to vote from this place. So yes, we had the voter registrars, but we expected a more higher level of verification of how people are going to be at polling stations. So that failure of the biometric voter machines shows an efficiency in the Electoral Commission, but also on the returning officers. The Electoral Commission had around 5 days to train these people. That is a week, because I heard that from the returning officer for Kiruhura district. They had 5 days to train the polling assistants who are at the polling stations, which I feel was not sufficient enough for training people who are going to use IT equipment, which is for the first time. In 2021, we expected the same to be used. Yet they didn't use it. And 2026, actually, there was procurement of the same, and still it failed. But also on the part of government, you cannot say you want to go tech savvy, yet you're switching off the internet. Because at the end of the day, these two move together. Because if you're moving into a digital world, you need to look at issues of keeping the internet stable. So you went into a polling season and you switched off internet 3 days, 2 days I think before. So you switched off the internet on Tuesday, and you had an election on Thursday, and by the time these machines had to receive data, like how you claim, because the president was claiming that Electoral Commission did not send data. Now, for us who do law, we know that data collecting societies and data collecting agencies, Electoral Commission is not one agency that is registered as a data collecting mechanism or organization.
So they use whose data?
The data comes from NIRA.
NIRA, okay.
So NIRA sends data to Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission feeds it in the machine. But all this takes a process, and it is an electronic process which needs data. So you removed the data on Tuesday. You claim that the information was not fed into these machines so that they can be able to identify the voters. So well and good. what happens if you had the internet? That means you'd send this information. We give it 4 hours, and from around 7 to 10, you'd have the BMKs working. But at the end of the day, they were not working. So that issue was there in the election. We go to the issue of security. Now, I have seen reports from Butambala, very sad. I condone with the people of Butambala, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi. I also condone with the people in Masaka. I saw young ladies and men who happened to be killed in the election. The issue of the force, even in Sembabule, the Honorable Theodore Sechukubo's constituency, where General Shande was standing, there were issues in Sembabule, District Woman Member of Parliament, where Kankunda Rose was standing, and the NRM candidate. We have seen a continued existence of the militarization of politics in this country, which is very wrong. Last time I was here, I was discussing the issue of security and how the security chiefs had a brief heading pre-election, and they also had a brief just recently where we missed to see the CDF. I really want to see the CDF sitting on these panels. We had the General Mwahuzi, who is now the State Minister for Internal Affairs. We need to see the army chief come out and speak on some of these issues. Now, the security issue...
He expresses himself on Twitter or on X.
I want to believe
that is not the one.
That is not the one. So I will not comment on the X issue because I'm not privy to what happens on X so much. But I want to say that the security presence in this election was hidden but visible. We do not see the Mambas and the tanks coming out.
I did see them.
But
maybe not in the amount that we knew them
we
to
expected.
Be.
But
because on Friday, that is the day after the voting and so on, I was here because we don't go to rest as media. We continue to run and so on. And we had gunshots, we had fire, tear gas canisters. You can tell the difference when you listen closely and so on. Of course, you want to know about your safety and what is taking place and so on. And we moved around to take a round. And they were in the corner there, just after the Chibuya roundabout, parked there, 2 of them, and a very harsh red beret military police and so on, chasing people off the streets and so on. I believe they had reason to do so because there was chaos. I had learned that somebody, I think, had lost his life just a distance, a small distance in Deba. So they were really right to, because prevention is also very, very key in as far as this is concerned.
Mr. Simbwa, you would realize that happened on 15th.
Yes, it did. No,
on 16th.
Yes.
So on 15th, the presence wasn't really much.
It wasn't. I moved around, I think, a lot because I did go and vote, then return, then go, then you get it. And in the movement, I didn't see any. That's the truth of the matter.
So on the 16th, yes, I received reports, Usawala, that side, Ndeba, Chibuye, Chiseka down here. My brothers here in Atete also received a share of tear gas. There was a little bit of chaos. You see, the excessiveness that is in Kampala is not understandable sometimes because this is a central business district.
Yes, it is.
Where people come and put money and they expect a return on that money. So when you come and cause chaos in a business
place
district,
where you get money from,
you receive the highest number of taxes in Kampala. So you are supposed to protect Kampala as much as possible. So I agree at times you must come and protect your business, but at the end of the day, what are you losing? There is so much more to lose than to protect. So at the end of the day, the force that was used on 16th was not expected. These are young people who are moving around here and there. We saw the issue of Honorable Dennis Sekabila in Katikamu, where the supporters of Honorable Davis had the presumption that he had been arrested and taken away, yet he was inside the offices where he was being declared as the MP-elect. Now, those are circumstances where police can come up because of the information they've got that people are going to riot and do what, to come and just show presence. You see, the issue when you look at countries like the UK, Germany, USA, even now that we are seeing in Iran. Iran, they were killing people. Yeah, but there is an issue of just showing presence. When you look at the UK, when the protests are going up in the UK, presence of police is enough to show that we are in control. You don't need to start throwing tear gas here and there. You only do that when the situation is out of hand. But you cannot have a section of 20 people in a place trying to show their dissatisfaction, and then you are bringing out
members,
yes.
3 members,
So
5.
that kind of environment was very unconducive for this kind of period. And remember, we are pushing a notion of unity. I see Honorable Norbert Mao talking about this is the second phase of the transition, because he talked about the first phase of transition was coming together with the NRM, and now here the second phase of transition is going into elections and blah, 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 etc. If you're going to speak the national transition and the national unity issue, you need to show people that we are listening to you. At the end of the day, you are dissatisfied, but I am listening. But you don't tell a dissatisfied person, I am listening, when you are shooting bullets and you are pouring tear gas on them. So on the overview, on the day of election, it was very okay. Though there are certain incidents, like the Utambala issue was very, very not okay. The issues in Sembabule, I saw Honorable Jet Tumweba's the senior counsel was saying on Twitter that some of the declaration forms of NUP in Sembabule were just torn. Which is not right, and you would see the isolated issues here and there. But the day itself was okay. So for the overview, 2026 polling day was okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Some issues still in there. I'll go with the voter registers now, the books. There were complaints that they were handed over late. Because then, I think they're entitled, the parties participating in the election are entitled to each voter register and so on. I found them at the polling stations, and some people at the polling stations imagined it was wrong for the others to have them. So, and I had a scenario, typical scenario, where the voter polling assistants, you called them, checked for a name in the register, and it wasn't there. They asked the polling agents for some party that, can we check in your register? And the name was there.
Yes.
So it became chaos. How is it that the official register does not have this person's name? Now, on close checking and so on, they discovered that actually the name had been there, but had been skipped. But that is also a problem. You realize that is also a problem. So, but the issue of handing them over late to the people, what is that and why should it be like that?
By law, Electoral Commission is supposed to give these national registers to political parties 2 weeks. They gave them these national registers 1 week to the election. Now, the essence of giving these national registers to political parties is to look at the register and also look at the number of voters they have in that specific area, to get to know how many voters are in a certain polling station, how many voters are in a certain district, so that at the end of the day, when numbers come in the Electoral Commission,
they are real numbers,
yes,
not concocted ones.
This time round, I want to depart from your view. Now, this in 2021, we had issues of people missing on the voter register. Very many issues. My candidate for Kigorobia County in Hoima, Honorable David Karwanga, when they went to NRM primaries, a sitting member of parliament was missing in the yellow book.
Wow.
Sitting member of parliament. He went ahead to lose the primaries, and unfortunately, he even lost the general election. But this shows you that predominantly, most people who want to win elections start from the registers. So it was very, very important for the Electoral Commission to uphold the integrity, first of all, by upholding the integrity of the voter register. But now, in 2026, the issues of voter registers were not so much, but then also they were there in some polling stations. As I had said, there are incidents that are here and there, but generally in the overview of it, it was okay. But the issue of giving the national voter register to the political parties 1 week to the election, it gave them less time to be very prepared, and that is why I'm seeing most presidential candidates are not sure of the numbers. Some may be, others are very speculative, but hopefully they will sit down and come to realization because I think the election petition should be in a week for the presidential election.
Okay.
Yes.
My other one is about, you mentioned speculation, speculation and imagination, let me add. Was there any instances that you had of ballot stuffing?
Mukuru Simbwa now, you see.
No, had. I didn't say witnessed or saw or anything like that, but
No.
I'm asking, did you hear anything? Because one of the places that there were claims, mostly claims, but you see, it's important to refer and infer. In Masaka, there was chaos in the morning. A reporter from there mentioned something that who is she? Namere, Justin
Yes,
Namere,
Justin.
not attacked, had gone to a barracks, is it the police barracks there, and was wondering, I think there were people that were supposed to be voting in there, and they were not being allowed to do what, to enter, and she claimed that there were, maybe there was something amiss going on. Another place that they mentioned, I want to go into the details of, but from my information, that particular place is supposed to be in Kawempe. But their claim was that the reason why a certain party lost in Kampala Central is because of what happened in that particular place.
Now, you see,
the legal mind is going to come in here.
speculation is okay. To be very honest with you, ballot stuffing is a predominant issue. Even when you look at most of the election petitions, there are issues of ballot stuffing. Now, when you look at certain polling stations, you would see that the number of registered voters, a polling station actually in this election, every polling station is supposed to have around 750 or 850 people voting at a polling station. But you would look at polling stations that had more than 1,000 people voting, yet the National Register is allocating 850 people a certain polling station. So the ballot stuffing will be there with evidence. But as per now, we haven't really gone into the issue of the evidential part of it all. But the speculations and the ideology of ballot stuffing is always existing. When you look at the presidential elections, there is always going to be a county, now like Kiruhura, that has 99% of people voting for the president. You are never sure whether it is the people themselves or it came in the ballot. So you cannot be sure about ballot stuffing unless it comes out, let's say in court, and there is evidence to the ballot stuffing. But at the end of the day, I'm very sure there are certain places that it happened.
Okay, if numbers are not correlating, where you have a scenario of a polling station has 850 registered voters, and then the ballot boxes contain 1,250 ticked ballot papers, isn't that clear evidence of electoral malfunction? I mean,
malpractices. Yes. Now, the numbers, all that is very possible, because when you look at these election petitions and election offenses under the Presidential Elections Act, the Parliamentary Elections Act, Local Government Act, you would get to see that these offenses are there. And in circumstances of ballot stuffing, you look at the registered voters on a polling station, the number of voters on a polling station, and also how many people turned up to vote. So at the end of the day, all those things need to be tallying. So when you look at a polling station, and the polling station is supposed to have around 600 people, but the number of people who voted there are 1,000. That means you have 400 more people in that polling station who voted. Now, you ask yourself, were these pre-ticked ballot papers, or you had 400 more people who came? But surprisingly, you can find a polling station.
Because in a scenario where the claim is that we have 21 million registered voters,
yes,
and the voter turnout is 11 million, chances are that there is almost no polling station where there was 100% turnout
yes,
for the voting. So where do you get the excesses then, to the extent that it is almost near double or more than 1.5 you get?
You see, Pana Simba, there are things, elections are elections.
Elections.
This election kind of thing was never an African setting of democracy. The Europeans who lent us their democratic kind of view hindered us, because for us we had not really mastered the art of letting people have an opinion. Because for them, they had grown into a level of having opinionated discussions. And that is why you can see in the UK Parliament, members can have different kind of conversations that they will still come out and be friends.
Yeah.
You have seen Trump and the representative of Illinois. She's a lady with the origin of Somalia. They're always having back-to-back banter. But you will never see Trump saying, "Go and arrest the representative of Illinois."
Because there's respect for
yes,
that opinion.
at the end of the day, the opinionated discussions are supposed to be there. Now, in Uganda and in the African setting, elections are a do-or-die situation. So you're going to find that even when the election is supposed to be fair, but the man sees he's going, he's like, I have to do something about it. Like, now let the voting first stop for 2 hours, put in my votes, and then it resumes after 2 hours. So there's supposed to be transparency in the election process, but the transparency is not going to be there because there are people who are supposed to benefit from the election period. So the issue of this voter turn-up and the ballot stuffing, me, I believe it always comes out in court. But sometimes there are people who don't actually get to go to court. I was seeing the presidential candidate, I think, Frank Burira, saying he was actually given less votes and he did not campaign because his money was frozen because of his affiliation to Dr. Agwe Chiyinji. All that has been there. I saw Frank Kasivante is putting a petition. I feel that petition is rushed. And that petition is going to fail at inception. Yes, because you are the 6th, I think, and you voted from, I think, Kasanda. I think you voted from Kasanda or Mitiana, but of the two. And the NRM won where you voted from. And even you don't have a polling station where you won. So are you going to talk about disenfranchisement of Ugandans or your supporters? So at the end of the day, that election petition, the presidential election petition by Honorable Kasivante now is very rushed and not thought through. So all in all, what we can talk about the ballot stuffing is we wait to see how the law is going to come into play as per now.
Okay, the second party, and I'm going to create it, but you're going to bear with me. The second party in this election, apart from the NRM being number one, was independence.
Yes.
Why is that?
Now, I am going to, when the voting ended on 15th, I was in a discussion with certain people, and I was saying I'm going to get a chance to speak to this country about this election. Now, I'm going to start with the NRM ruling party. NRM ruling party went for party primaries that were very, very, very chaotic.
Yes, they were.
And
violent.
Very violent. They came out with candidates, some who were able leaders, others were very violent leaders, others were just non-capable leaders. But they got cards and they became flag bearers of the ruling party. And they went ahead to go for the election. The independents who failed in the NRM primaries, some came back. On the highest number, around 60, I think.
67 of them are...
67 of them, 50 are NRM. That gives,
of the independents.
Yes. That gives you that 50 people who failed in the NRM primaries were capable and willing enough to be the rightful members of parliament in this general election. Now, we had the tribunal, the NRM disputes tribunal. The tribunal was supposed to look into the petitions of these NRM candidates before they went into the general election. This tribunal was mad with corruption, solicitation of money. It was mad with a lot of malice on these people who brought election petitions. You find that a panel was asking for almost 500, 600 million from a candidate so that they can give an election petition judgment in their favor. Now, this goes to the head of the tribunal, senior counsel Enoch Barata, to show him that your tribunal had loopholes in deciding the election petitions in the NRM session of the parties. Now, we go to NUP. My senior comrade, Honorable Chagulanyi, should understand one thing. You lost Buganda because of the political system you have in the party. I'm going to give a status quo of Kawempe South, where you have Hajatu who won. Now, Kawempe South, you had two candidates, Chairman Nyanzi, Roy Semboga. Now, when you are going to your party,
two candidates from
NUP,
from and it was replicated almost in.
Now, you have two candidates. Roy Semboga, who was in your election in 2021, and you gave the card to someone else, to Haji Kasiwe Bashir. In 2026, he comes back, and we all thought he would be the viable candidate for the NUP flag bearer for Kawempe South. He went ahead and gave the card to his elder brother, Chairman Nyanzi. You come and then go into an election, and an NRM candidate beats you in your back door. A place where you have been having a stronghold. Because the misallocation of flags in NUP, because of that, they keep saying that they have a matter in court where they're supposed to amend the constitution of their party to bring in term limits and to bring in primaries, but they're saying they had a matter in court. Last I knew, Chibalama had withdrawn the matter in court. So now, NUP is free to amend the constitution and register it with the Electoral Commission. But still, if they go on like this in the next election cycle, this one we are going into, I am very sure, even the candidates who are coming in 2031, they will still lose. So that is also another two. Now, the other issue of, other than the cards of NUP, still on NUP, the mobilization.
What about the internal wrangles? Because throughout the almost 2 years, the last 2 years of the, what do you call it, the term have been filled with chaos, inner chaos within the party. And a lot of the people that were involved in that chaos have not returned to parliament.
To me, I believe every political party in growing has to have chaos.
Okay.
When you look at the 10 years of 1986 to 1996, when the first general election was held in Uganda, it was a time of transition, and Museveni had people he was not agreeing with on certain instincts and levels. And therefore, he was given a 10-year minimum of growing.
Yeah, but he created an environment that enabled his growth. How? He said no parties. And he could bring in people he clearly disagreed with on principle, like the Sebanas, like the Semogereres, and so on, and they were in the same party, ministers in his government, and so on, but moving along even with differences in opinion. Now,
you see, political parties, we are in a multi-party political dispensation.
That's true.
Political parties front interests. They don't front ideologies. They front interests. The reason why we are saying the leader of opposition, Honorable Joel Senyoni, is the best performing leader of opposition, we are not saying it because he's very articulative. We are saying it because he fronts the ideologies of the party. What does the party want at the floor of parliament? That is what we are going to stand for. Honorable Mpuga is a man of ideologies. In multi-party politics, if you look at NRM has no ideology other than NRM ideology, not a statewide ideology. It has an NRM ideology. What does the party chairman want? That is what we are bringing at the floor of parliament. So we cannot fault Honorable Chagulanyi for putting aside the people who don't agree with the NUP ideology. Remember, there is a vision bearer of that ideology, who is Honorable Chagulanyi. We fault him because he's a single man ideology person. He is not a man of advisors, but he's learning from Mr. Museveni. Because even Mr. Museveni, who has almost, I think, 100, 200 presidential advisors, he still doesn't listen to them. So this young man is also learning from the person who he wants to remove. So if you have advisors, I've seen Sulaiman Chidandala has been moving with Honorable Chagulanyi throughout the country. Those are men who have had a little bit of power in this country and can articulate issues. I expected Sulaiman Chidandala to be advising Honorable Chagulanyi on different matters when it comes to national issues, which I have not seen happen. So we cannot fault him that the wrangles within the party have the one caused the issues. If the wrangles were a problem, Democratic Front would have got people in Masaka. You lost in Kimanya, you lost in Nyendo Mukungwe, you lost in Masaka City, where you had 3 candidates. Even here in Machindia West, I don't agree with that young man, Musiri David, at all levels. But I knew he would not even get the votes because I expected him as a person who was serving in the NUP at the Central Executive Committee and a head of institutions. I expected him to get some votes. But even him, after coming in the Democratic Front, he did not get. When you look at Nakandi, who was in Nakawa, where Honorable Waiswa was won, she also did come close to even getting close to what Honorable Waiswa got or former Attorney General Alex Ruhindi got. So when you look at Democratic Front and the issues they had with NUP, those are set aside. They are not issues that led to what is happening to NUP right now. The issues that happened to NUP is lack of mobilization, where even in Buganda, I've been telling people, Honorable Chagulanyi did not win anywhere. Nowhere. Because at the end of the day, you have a presidential candidate, Honorable General Yoweri Museveni, who has in northern Uganda a percentage of 89%.
In northern Uganda?
Yes, 89%. And you have less than 4%. Now, you tell me, you are saying Buganda is your stronghold. Where did you get 89%
or 90% or...
This man...
Or even 70. Did I say any 70?
There was no 70. The highest was a 60. Now, you tell me where you say Buganda is your stronghold. They have 60 members of parliament plus in Buganda. You lost 23 seats in Buganda. Now, the mobilization strategy, the message you are preaching to the people, where you are a stronghold, should also change. Because we have seen him lose Bujiri. We have seen him lose Mbari. We have seen, yes, the presidential candidate for FDC comes from Eastern Region. But we didn't expect him to be as a match to him. Because even the presidential candidate where for FDC, I think Bulambuli and Bududa, that's where he got some votes, and Honorable Chagulanyi dropped to the 3rd position. But even then, you had other places in Eastern Region. You lost Bukoma Simbi, you have lost even in Kamuli, you have lost the only place where you have is Jinja City and Jinja District, where you have gotten your members of parliament. But Bukoma Simbi, Gomba, Butambala, where you have only 2 members of parliament, even Gomba, where you come from, your sister has lost 2 elections as a woman member of parliament for Gomba. Anyway, I did not expect Honorable Nyamatama to lose the election anyway, but still at the end of the day, you could not garner votes in your own area you come from. Seeing a journalist, Bakabate, discussing the issue of where Honorable Chagulanyi votes from in Kasangati, where the Honorable Chagulanyi and the wife vote from at the polling station where he garnered 800 votes, and the candidate for NRM had 200 votes. Now, you go to the polling station where General Museveni votes from in Chihuahua, and tell me how many votes Honorable Chagulanyi got. That is the issue we are talking about in Uganda.
That your home is your home.
Honorable Chagulanyi should agree that he lost this election from the point go. We were seeing the drives. Yesterday I was doing my research. I was looking at the Subi. Subi Buganda was here in 2011. And they supported Dr. Kizza Besigye for president then. We saw what happened in 2011. 2021, when they got almost 57 members of parliament, they created the G20. The Buganda caucus with Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi created a nervous system where they can handle issues of Buganda. G20 failed in a year and it disappeared. Now, you had an initiative of Buganda from 12 million votes from 7 in Buganda. Now, you have 60 members of parliament coming from NRM. You have independent, you have NRM in Busiro North, Busiro South, where it is supposed to be a stronghold of NUP. You have a Kampala Central Member of Parliament where they beat a Secretary General of your party. You have a Member of Parliament in Kawempe South for NRM.
Which is a stronghold of the opposition. And
now,
your party as well.
That shows you that the mobilization strategy, I looked at the campaigns. Mr. Chagulanyi would come in an area and the campaigning would start 2 days, him coming, 2 days to him to come. He would, 2 days they say, hey, Honorable Chagulanyi is coming in the area, we mobilize you, we are going to be in this place. After he comes, he wraps up, he goes, the campaigns for Honorable Chagulanyi go. Now, the presidential candidate for NRM was coming in an area. Honorable Balamu will come, make a concert. Right Honorable Anita Mongo will come, make a concert. The vice chairperson for Buganda will come, make a concert. The secretary general for NRM will come, make a concert. Flag bearers will come. The people who are doing Buganda from ZEI will come. The Right Honorable Ruth Nankabirwa, Attorney General, all they will come. 5 people coming into a district to mobilize for one presidential candidate, different times. So that shows you that in this election, the mobilization for NUP dropped, leading to the failure for both their presidential candidate and their parliamentary candidates.
Okay, let's get into rebel MPs. You remember those guys. There's none now. Of course, it wasn't a big clique, but for a while, they've stuck on, they've held on, they've fought hard. And you mentioned something about ideology. And where do you get to be brought to book? Again, that is a questionable theory and so on, and it's mostly theory than anything else and so on. But I thought they were good for the party, in the sense that even though they differ on certain things, but at least they create an impression of we are not all the same direction.
In the early 2000s, when General David's Funza told people that there is a project called Mwahuzi project. It is coming. People said Olimu Siasa. And he has been exonerated now. The rebel MPs are members of parliament who believe in an ideology of Museveni and not Mwahuzi.
Oh.
These are people who believe that there must be a transition.
Actually, severally they have mentioned it.
There must be a transition from General Museveni, but not to the son, to a capable candidate who is not.
Yes,
when you look at the members of parliament now for Buganda, they are all affiliated to
General Mwahuzi.
Now, when you want to talk about rebel MPs, Tinka Simire, council, very educated man, very outstanding man. He lost elections. And why? Because of the stand he takes on issues of where is the party heading. When you look at General Rashande, I don't believe General Rashande brings any theatrics to parliament. He doesn't add anything to the National Assembly. Yes, the Remiyaga man has issues of land grabbing here and there, inconsistencies. Any human being has, who has power. But then you cannot substitute Theodore Sechikubo with General Rashande. When you look at the MPs like, I think those are the only 2 rebel MPs I remember. But still,
there are others. Nwagaba.
Now, Nwagaba was, I think, FDC. And for him, he lost, he was a shadow attorney general, very educated lawyer. And he lost to a man who was in, I think, URA, Dr. Pritazio. It is okay. Nwagaba had served for almost 20 years. Since 2000. Honorable Nsereko wanted to run for president, but he didn't manage to.
Was that a genuine effort, or was it an excuse?
Everybody is looking for a mail card. I don't believe Honorable Nsereko would garner anything. Even in Buganda, he would not do that. Yes, even him himself knew it. I saw people bringing back clips of him saying the Secretary General of NUP will not win in Kampala as long as he's there. And you know, there is a belief that the 5 hills of Kampala belong to the Islamic faith. And Honorable Chagulani played the tactic of asking the Islamic faith. He handed them March India West, which was for Alan Sewanyana, to Ruika. He handed them March India East, which was for Nyeko Derek, who was also a born again, to Mulyanyama, who is a Muslim. And he was asking them to give me Kampala Central and Lord Mayor. Because Kampala Central, there is a Muslim Mohammed Nsereko, and Lord Mayor, there is a Muslim Elias Lukwago. So he's asking both born-again Christians at Kampala MP, who is Louis Bongoya, and a born-again Christian candidate, who is Balimwezo. So he wanted the Islamic faith to give him these 2, and he compensates them the other 2. But he has failed at the game. We are hoping to see Honorable Balimwezo taking Kampala City Road Mayor. Hopefully. To redeem the situation. Because you have already lost much in the division. The mayor there is an NRM man. So that means you have a tussle to maintain the other mayors. You have Serun Joji in Kawempe. You lost Rusagara here in Machindi. You're supposed to have, I think, in Nakawa, you brought Nubian Lee. So in Kampala Central, you have a road mayor and you have a candidate for mayor. But still you have a person of Salimu Uhuru, who is also not as easy as they say. So at the end of the day, local government, we are looking at it. But even as the general election, what we saw can happen again even
in the local government elections. Time is fast spent. What next with that kind of parliament? Do we expect anything? Because it is loop-sided once again, and this time maybe even more extreme than it was the previous time. Anything from them?
I'm waiting to see how the opposition party is going to lead its politics. Nothing new from NRM. We're going to have a speaker, a deputy speaker, government chief whip. Where the government chief whip lost, they ordered a re-election. I don't know why, but they want the man back. So the returning officer for the district said there will be a re-election. We are waiting for that by-election. I am very disappointed in NRM, but they want the chief whip back. So he will be bouncing back to Parliament. I'm very sure he will not lose that by-election. I am not expecting anything new from the ruling party. The opposition leading party is NUP. We're still around 50 or 51 and 50. We will need to look at who is going to be the leader of opposition now. Now that you have lost Vice President of Buganda, Mwanga Chivumbi, we need to look at people who are going to head the committees of PAC, PAC local government, COSASE. All these we need to look at who is capable. So we're keeping eyes on the opposition to see if they're going to come with force or they're going to fail as always as they have failed with internally mobilizing their own people. So we expect a 5 years that is not so tough on the political ground because the leading opposition party has weakened somehow, somewhere, but NRM is strengthening itself, and we expect to see more young blood coming in, especially from the NRM side.
Lastly, do you think General Sejusa's prediction will come to pass?
That one is coming.
Okay. We'll keep it at that. And Counsel Calvin Mwahuzi, political analyst and lawyer, analyzing issues here for you this Tuesday morning. We want to take it beyond that. Have your source in this.